Temperature is increasing day by day, which is causing a lot of problems. Even today, the temperature is 44 degrees Celsius. This will only increase from here.
Here it was 55 degrees Celsius. There are possibilities of temperatures going above that.
We had planned to spend about 2.5 hours here, but because of the heat, we came out within 30 minutes.
When I woke up in the morning and looked around, it was like an ocean.
Everything got destroyed over here.
For the southern suburbs, this has been a pretty serious downfall of rain.
It is very difficult to ride a motorcycle in these hot summer days.
From New Delhi to Rajasthan and Gujarat, dangerous heat wave is sweeping across India. Temperatures in several regions have crossed 45 degrees Celsius, as the India Meteorological Department warns of above average warm days this summer. On the 19th of May in the state of Punjab, IMD said that the temperature reached 47.3 degrees Celsius in Faridkot, and in Haryana's Rohtak, 46.9 degrees Celsius was registered. In New Delhi, the temperature soared past 46 degrees Celsius.
We leave around 7 in the morning when we still have some energy, but after 11 our bodies start to give up. My head starts spinning and I feel like I might pass out. But we have to continue working because it is not something we have to deal with for just one day. We also have to look after our families.
We need to take precautions, like covering our heads with a piece of cloth, as I have done. The heat is intense, and we also read about it on our phones. We need to do everything to protect ourselves.
But India is not alone in the region. Pakistan is also facing record-breaking heat. And while some parts of the world are burning under extreme heat, other regions are battling deadly floods and storms. At least 22 people have lost their lives after heavy rains battered central and southern China. Hawaii is also facing its worst flooding in 20 years. In India too, scenes like these were seen during a powerful storm in the month of May. Scientists warn that extreme weather events are becoming more frequent, more intense and more deadly. While some countries struggle with floods, others are battling wildfires. In the United States, wildfires have spread across forest regions as hot and dry conditions worsen. Fires have also been reported in Greece, Italy, Japan, and even parts of India. Scientists say global fire conditions have become more extreme due to rising temperatures and drying vegetation. Heat waves are arriving earlier, floods are becoming deadlier, wildfires are spreading faster. Climatic disruptions worldwide have created massive destruction across the globe. So, what is causing this global climate chaos? Why are extreme events happening more often? What is the human impact of these disruptions? Are more extreme weather conditions expected in the future? And are governments prepared for a future of climate disasters? All this and more on WION Wideangle this week. Large parts of north and central India are in the grip of an intense heat wave as temperatures continue to rise across multiple states. People are avoiding stepping out during peak hours as hot winds sweep through cities and towns. The India Meteorological Department has warned that the extreme conditions are expected to continue.
There would be heatwave conditions in northwestern India and central India till next week. Some regions of Uttar Pradesh are likely to witness severe heatwave conditions.
On the 19th of May, several districts recorded temperatures above 46 degrees Celsius. Water demand has risen sharply and power consumption has surged as millions rely on coolers and air conditioners. The IMD has also warned of unusually warm nights in several states, offering little relief even after sunset. The Delhi government has established temporary cooling zones and summer relief camps across the city's crowded areas, major bus stands and metro stations to combat severe heat waves. The cooling zones have makeshift tents with water coolers and cooling fans, and visitors are also given oral rehydration solution. These facilities offer immediate refuge from peak afternoon temperatures.
This is a very good initiative by the Delhi government, and it should make more such cooling zones so that it facilitates the tourists.
The facilities at the cooling zone are very good, and we were given oral rehydration solution and towels, and we really liked it, and they have installed coolers well.
Just days before, large parts of India came under a severe heatwave alert. Several states were battling a completely different weather crisis. On the 13th and 14th of May, powerful thunderstorms, heavy rains, dust storms and lightning struck parts of North and South India, leaving behind widespread damage and death. Uttar Pradesh was the worst hit. At least 104 people lost their lives across the state as the storm turned deadly.
The number of deaths has reached to 104. Major reasons for the deaths are the storm. Some person died after they were struck by a collapsed wall, some under a tree fallen on the ground.
In one dramatic video from Bareilly, a man holding onto a tin structure was flung into the air by strong winds as shocked onlookers watched from below. A scene straight out of a film. The man sustained injuries after falling to the ground. He suffered fractures to his hands and legs, and he received treatment in a hospital.
I was at least 50 feet above the ground. After I went high up in the storm, I fell 80 feet away.
On the 12th of May, an under-construction structure collapsed due to heavy rains in the city of Sangli in Maharashtra. This led to the deaths of 6 people, while 13 others got injured. The incident took place when pilgrims returning from a religious gathering took shelter at the site following heavy rains.
Yesterday, May 12th, after a pilgrimage, rain occurred. To save themselves from rains, they, pilgrims, sought shelter at an under-construction site where a wall collapsed, which resulted in deaths of 6 people and 13 are injured.
At least 7 people, including 2 children, died and several others were injured after a wall collapsed in Bengaluru on the 29th of April. The collapse came as Bengaluru witnessed heavy rains earlier in the day that disrupted traffic and caused waterlogging in low-lying areas across the city. Just days later, those same regions are dealing with a very different extreme. This is the Run of Kutch in Gujarat. The Indian western state produces roughly 3/4 of India's total salt output. Here, the summer temperatures routinely exceed 45 degrees Celsius and can reach 50 degrees. The dry heat makes life punishing and intolerable. It also makes the desert ideal for salt production. In the little run of Kutch, up to 50,000 workers spent 8 grueling months on the remote salt pans without electricity, adequate healthcare, even bereft of the shade of a tree. Heavily reliant on water tankers to deliver drinking and washing water every 25 days. These salt workers use shaded rest breaks, cloth-cooled water bottles and staggered hours to survive the sweltering heat.
I have been working in this heat for 30 years. It is hot and gives me a headache, but we have to do it to earn our livelihood.
We take pills if our health becomes bad. We take pills when the body aches or there is pain. We keep taking pills. I take medicine and then continue working.
It does hurt. The skin breaks and sometimes there is bleeding because the salt is very harsh.
Fatigue, dizziness and nausea, telltale signs of heat stress, are frequently reported by the workers. What's especially concerning is that India has no fixed legal temperature at which work must stop, and mainly relies on IMD heat wave thresholds. It is not just India that is reeling under extreme weather conditions. Across the border in Pakistan, millions are also struggling through an intense and prolonged heat wave. Throughout April and May, temperatures across southern Pakistan have remained far above normal levels. Karachi, a city that usually receives some relief from sea breezes along the Arabian Sea, has been struggling to escape the heat. During the first half of May, temperatures in Karachi crossed 40 degrees on multiple days. According to the Pakistan Meteorological Department, the city recently recorded a maximum temperature of 44.1 degrees Celsius. Its highest temperature since May 31st, 2018, when Karachi touched 46 degrees.
It is very difficult to ride a motorcycle in these hot summer days. With the heat wave going on, there should be water camps at various places so that people can stop and drink water and freshen up a bit before driving off on their journey.
Hospitals in Karachi have also reported a rise in heat-related illnesses. The most at risk are outdoor workers, elderly people and patients with existing medical conditions. Patients suffering from heat stroke, dehydration, diarrhea and gastroenteritis have been admitted across multiple hospitals. Doctors say the hot weather is also worsening conditions like blood pressure and diabetes.
As soon as temperature rose, the flow of patients increased because of the rise of blood pressure patients and diabetic patients. The number of patients increase in summer season. During the heat stroke season, hospital admittance rises as a result, on average a 30 to 50% increase compared to normal days.
A brutal heat wave is sweeping across South Asia, disrupting daily life for millions across the region. While South Asia continues to struggle with extreme heat, China is facing a different weather emergency. Torrential rains have battered large parts of southern and central China, triggering deadly floods, landslides, and mass evacuations. At least 22 people have lost their lives after heavy rains battered central and southern China. Chinese authorities warn that multiple provinces face a high risk of rain-related disasters. The worst-hit regions included Jiangxi, Anhui, Hunan, Hubei, Guizhou, Guangxi, Guangdong, and Hainan. Look at these visuals. The eyewitnesses' video from the 18th of May showed a car being swept away by floodwaters in China's Guizhou province after heavy rainfall caused the Jian River to overflow. Emergency teams were deployed across flooded areas as thousands of residents were evacuated from waterlogged neighborhoods. Visuals broadcast on Chinese state media showed collapsed roads, vehicles submerged under water, and rescue workers carrying people through flooded streets.
When I woke up in the morning and looked around, it was like an ocean. The road I built in front of my house is so high that the water reversed flow, but after an hour, the water flooded into my room.
In some areas, schools, businesses and public transport services were shut down as rain continued to pound the region. The Chinese government also announced disaster relief funding of 150 million yuan or $22 million as emergency response operations were activated across multiple provinces. On the 15th of May, 5 delivery riders rushed into fast-moving floodwaters in China's Guangzhou to rescue a child who had been suddenly swept away. Working together, they successfully pulled the child to safety. The child, a young boy, was riding a bicycle when he lost his balance and fell into the surging water, which threatened to sweep him away.
I came over to pick up an order. Just as I arrived, I saw him fall off his bicycle. I saw him choking on the water. I didn't think about anything else. I just ran over. It was extremely urgent because most of the manhole covers had been opened. At that moment, I only thought about saving him, getting him out of there as quickly as possible because the current was extremely fast. I intercepted him and pulled him up. Then the others came over to hold him. My shoes fell off. My earphones fell off. There was no time to think about any of that. He was already choking on the water when I saw him.
China's National Meteorological Center has warned that the severe weather system is expected to shift further east and south, with heavy rainfall forecast along the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River. In East Africa, Somalia is facing two extremes at once. On the 5th of May, heavy overnight rainfall flooded parts of the capital city, Mogadishu, submerging low-lying neighborhoods and leaving major roads underwater. Visuals from the city showed residents wading through muddy floodwater as authorities worked to clear blocked drainage channels.
This morning at 5 a.m., we came here to open this drainage canal. Previously, people in this neighborhood used to leave their homes whenever it rained. But now, a drainage system has been built. We would like to thank the Banadir Regional Administration and the local community members who contributed to its construction.
May falls during Somalia's Gu rainy season, which usually brings the heaviest rainfall to the country's southern and central regions. But years of drought, rapid urban expansion and damaged infrastructure have left the country highly vulnerable to flash floods. And while floodwaters hit the capital, other parts of Somalia continue to suffer from a devastating drought. In Puntland, a punishing dry spell has turned large stretches of land into barren wasteland. World Food Program footage showed dead animals lying across cracked earth as water sources dried up and families were forced into makeshift camps. Local residents described entire communities losing their livestock, one of their main sources of food and income.
After a prolonged drought, we had hoped and prayed to Allah for rain, but it never came. The water sources we depended on for farming, including the river, dried up completely. Once the river was gone, we could no longer sustain our cattle. Rather than watching them die of thirst, we were forced to slaughter them. On top of this, ongoing conflict made our situation even worse, forcing us to flee before the fighting reached.
Thousands of kilometers away from Asia, the impact of extreme weather is still being felt in Hawaii. 2 months after devastating floods hit the island of Oahu in March 2026, farmers across Hawaii's North Shore are still struggling to recover. Back-to-back storms brought some of the worst flooding the state has seen in more than 2 decades. Across the region, small farms that help supply food to the islands suffered massive damage.
Right now we're here at Mahiko Farm, and as you can see, all the mud and everything got destroyed over here. We are not sure how the water got here because it's kind of like we're in a mountain, but when it came 1 in the morning, and It hit us really fast.
More than 600 farms reported losses worth nearly $40 million, including damage to crops, livestock, and farm equipment. Local farming groups say the real scale of destruction may be even higher, with losses possibly crossing $50 million. For many farmers, recovery has been slow and uncertain. While some parts of the world are battling floods and heavy rain, other regions are facing a different kind of disaster. In the United States, multiple states have witnessed major wildfires in recent weeks, as hot, dry, and windy conditions created the perfect environment for fast-spreading fires. In Southern California, a rapidly moving wildfire near Los Angeles has triggered mass evacuations across several communities. The blaze, officially named the Sandy Fire, broke out on the 18th of May near Simi Valley, northwest of downtown Los Angeles. Satellite images showed massive clouds of smoke rising over Los Angeles County as emergency crews rushed to protect nearby communities. Authorities warned that high temperatures, dry conditions, and gusty winds could further intensify the fire. From the United States to Europe now, earlier in May, several parts of Europe also faced fast-spreading wildfires, as dry conditions and strong winds helped flames spread rapidly. In southern Poland, a large wildfire broke out across forest land, burning nearly 100 hectares. Around 300 firefighters, dozens of emergency vehicles, and water-bombing helicopters were deployed to control the blaze. Authorities said the fire was initially brought under control, but strong winds caused the flames to spread again. Meanwhile, in Italy, a major forest fire in the Tuscany region forced the evacuation of around 3,000 people. Fire, which started in late April, spread across more than 800 hectares of forest land between the provinces of Lucca and Pisa. Firefighters struggled to contain the blaze as powerful winds continued to fan the flames across Mount Faeta. In late April, Japan also witnessed one of its biggest wildfires in more than 3 decades. The fires raged across the mountainous Iwate region in northern Japan, burning around 1,600 hectares of forest land. Hundreds of firefighters and more than 1,000 military personnel were deployed, as the blaze continued for 11 days before being brought under control. Scientists warn that many of the extreme weather events seen across the world this year may be driven by a combination of climate change and a possibly strong El Nino. El Nino is a natural climate pattern caused by the unusual warming of surface waters in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, a phenomenon that can disrupt weather patterns across the globe. A standard El Niño is declared when sea surface temperatures rise, but a super El Niño happens when temperatures are more than 2 degrees above the average. There is an indication of a super El Niño developing in the Pacific Ocean that poses a severe threat to India, driving extreme heat waves across the subcontinent and threatening to weaken the crucial southwest monsoon. The last Super El Niño occurred in 2015-16, with others in 97-98 and 1982-83. With global temperatures already rising due to human-induced climate change, scientists fear this could turn into an especially strong El Niño year.
The 2023-2024 El Niño event overlapped with the warmest 12-month period on record. And this year we saw many extreme weather events, high-impact extreme weather events around the world. And whilst El Nino did have a strong effect on those extreme weather events, many climate studies on these events found that the effect of climate change was much stronger. So we're seeing this situation where climate change is having this huge effect on the likelihood of certain types of extreme weather events, and then El Nino can provide sort of an additional boost to the likelihood or intensity of, say, a heat wave, drought, or extreme precipitation event.
Heat waves, floods, storms and wildfires are no longer isolated incidents. Across continents, extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and harder to predict. As global temperatures continue to rise, is the world prepared for a future of constant weather extremes?